I think today what we'll do is we will dispense with the normal drone videos I've been doing recently and instead have a look at the home charging situation, specifically here in the UK, and also sort of more specifically for people with Tesla Model S's, but also just for people generally, because there is one small problem with the UK government grant for home installation of a charging station. We'll get to that in a minute. I was planning on laying out the charging cables in the garage here, but as you can see, it's a bit of a mess. Right, now that's done, let's go get the cables from the back of the car. There she is. Right. Come on. Oh, blast. I haven't got the keys. To be honest, perhaps keys are not quite the right phrase. More like a sort of little model of the car. Now that I've got that in my pocket. Whee! And we're in. What have we got in here? Lots of cables in here. The ones that we're interested in are this one, and probably that one. Yeah, why not? Ooh. And of course there's one more cable, the one that's currently plugged into the car. Let's just get that one out as well. Right, so let's have a look what we've got here. Probably most of you already know. This is a Menakeys 3-pin charge cable, EVSE I think they call it, electric vehicle supply equipment, with a Type 2 bit on one end, UK 3-pin on the other. It's limited to 10 amps, often for safety reasons, because this is really a sort of emergency charger, I actually limit the amps down to 8. Now at 8 amps, you're basically putting in about 4 miles an hour. So it takes forever to charge the car with this, like literally at that speed, 48 hours. But at 8 amps, provided you fully unwind this, it's actually reasonably safe to use extension cable. Also handy when visiting friends that don't have outside plugs or easily accessible plugs. But this is not much good for charging at home for obvious speed related reasons and also safety related reasons. You don't want to put that much strain on ordinary household wiring for very long. This is a special Tesla type adapter. Some of you may have already seen it before. It is the CHAdeMO adapter for the direct current fast charge that you get. Most of the motorway service stations have got quick chargers that will take these. They're actually pretty good. It'll now do 40 kilowatts, at least for a little while. So this is actually really handy for those road trips where you just want to throw in an extra 40, 50 miles, which you can do in about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And this is my new home charging solution that I've recently got. It is the UMC, as Tesla call it, Universal Mobile Charger. It actually stands for Universal Mobile Connector. If you get this adapter for it, also from Tesla, then what that means is you can charge at 32 amps single phase. So this will put in about 20 miles an hour, like that. And that's not bad, 32 amps. Somehow I managed to completely forget about the Type 2 to Type 2 cable, which is usually used for connecting to charge points. You know, when you're out and about and you want to charge in a town centre or something, you need your Type 2 to Type 2 cable. Also, if you've got an untethered home charge point, you'll need it for that too. Anyway, can't get the staff these days. And the reason why I got that is because of some changes the government has recently made to the home charger grant that they used to do. See, when I first got the car back in 2014, the government would basically pay up to 70% of the installation costs of a home charger. However, because of some sort of loopholes, what the charging companies would do is give you a 30% discount. So you would basically pay nothing, and you would have a 16 amp charger installed, or you could pay 100 quid and have a 32 amp charger installed, which would be the 20 miles an hour, same charge rate as that cable. The problem is that lots of unscrupulous charging, charge point installation companies that I won't name, would just ring up landlords and say, hey, fancy a charge point going in? You know, it's free, won't cost you anything. Landlords would often say yes. The charge company, the installation company would get their money and the government would lose out, and the charge point would never be used. So it sort of made sense that they should change it a bit. The problem is that the way they've changed it now, you have to own an EV, which sort of you'd think would make sense, but I have one installed at my parents' house. They don't own an EV. I find it very useful. It was free for them. There's no way they would have paid 100 quid, unfortunately. So I would have wound up having to use that, the slow cable. That's one thing, you know, I mean, fair enough, you could say, well, people should just pay the money and get it installed. But there were other changes they made as well. And one of those is that you've only got, I think it's 6 months to actually get your home charge point installed after you've bought a new EV. And what that means is that if you buy an EV, get a charge point installed, and then move house, you're going to be out the whole costs of a brand new charge point unless you're lucky enough to move into a place that already has one installed. To add insult to injury, they also put the price up, but you know, I mean, it's not too much. It's, I think, £200 for 16 amps and £300 for 32 amps. But the big problem is if you ever move, you're going to have to pay that money. Well, no, you're not going to have to pay that again. You're going to have to pay twice that, about £700, £800 for a standard install of a 32 amp charge point. So the solution that I came up with was to buy one of these, because with the Tesla UMC and the 32 amp Blue Commando adapter, I could get an electrician to install one of these, and this gives you 32 amps straight into the UMC. The best bit is that for a simple install, an electrician, well, they only charged me 80 quid. Granted, the cable run is about 2 meters, so it's not very far, but still, you know, 80 quid. If I move house, hopefully I can get another one installed for 80 quid, 100 quid, and I'm back to 32 amp charging. Obviously, I take the cable with me. And also, if you're lucky enough to get 3-phase on site at your new house, you get a 16 amp 3-phase adapter, and then you'd be charging at 40 miles an hour. Would you be cool? I hope you've all found this video relatively interesting. I've tried not to get too techie with it, but I do think that it's, you know, for people that have electric vehicles, there is a bit of an issue around home charging and when you move house. And I know it'll be a while before a lot of people will have to encounter that problem, but the reality is a very high proportion of the people that have electric vehicles will encounter that problem. So it's worth having a bit of a heads up, I guess. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button. And if you have any questions about charging or drones or anything you'd like me to cover in general, leave a comment, and I'll do my best. Cheers. Oh, and before I forget, hopefully my next video will be about how to improve your flying skills with remote controlled aircraft in general, but specifically drones, because that's what we're currently playing with. I've got a few remote control helicopters which I like quite a lot. They're brilliant to learn on, but they're a real handful to fly. Anyway, till next time, cheers.